Okay, everybody, this is going to be a pretty good video. It's going to be descriptive. It's not going to be that long, though, so pay attention to all statements. Today's date, I believe, is September 29th or 30th, 2017. I don't pay attention to the dates that much unless I got an appointment, so I apologize if I'm a day or two off. It's Monday. I'm in San Diego, California, in La Jolla. I'm a target, victim, and activist concerning the continued crimes of what is known as gang stalking. Now, before I segue into and unpack the subject matter of this particular video, I'm going to make some initial statements and a couple fast predictions. You will understand why I make my predictions if you listen carefully and if you also research the materials that are incorporated within the other Periscope videos dedicated to this specific account. Now, the statements I'm going to make before I segue into the subject matter are as follows. Now, I've been made homeless as a result of being a gang stalking victim. And I'm going to make this statement as well. I'm going to go ahead and make it now just in case I forget to later. One, you can always go to Google and research all my descriptions cross-reference to gang stalking. And you can then also go to Google and research all my descriptions to what is known as organized stalking. Same crime, just goes by a few different names, but organized stalking and gang stalking are the two main names that it goes by. Pay attention carefully. So you can go to Google and research organized stalking and then gang stalking to homeless shelters, specifically in Michigan, Connecticut, and San Diego. Okay, anywhere in California. Because once they make the target homeless, the police refuse to investigate anything happening to a gang stalking victim. So you can go to Google and extensively research police and gang stalking and YouTube it as well. And the reason why they won't investigate it is because they're intentionally not only part of it and play a role in protecting it, but they will also play a role in reference to coming after the target at wooded areas that they go to that they have to sleep at, because every human being on this planet has to sleep and they know it. And they're using the homelessness as a control mechanism and for a mechanism of exploitation. Now, I've already discussed this pretty much in depthly in other Periscope videos, so you can remember all my descriptions can be Googled. Like when I say that they create the homelessness of gang stalking victims, Google that. Now, so the police won't investigate you being gang stalked, but they will not only continually allow it to occur until the crime motivation can be achieved, but they will then also try and make it appear like I've been here since August 8, 2011. And the San Diego police have never went out of their way once to give me indisputable, uncorrupted places that I could go to pertaining to homeless shelters. Never once. The most they did was give me, I think, a phone number twice, and every time I called them, I ended up having to leave a voice message, and they never replied, ever. Because in gang stalking, all the target individuals' communications are monitored, emails, phone calls, post office mail, all my descriptions can be Googled. Now, the reason why I was kept away from any uncorrupted homeless services since August 8, 2011 is because they needed me to stay in the homelessness, so when the periodic staged events happened throughout the, in other words, I got here on August 8, 2011, and today's date is September 29th or 30th, 2017. The reason why they kept me in the homelessness was because it was being used as a control mechanism, i.e. meaning, but not limited to, the fact that whenever they stage an event towards any gang stalking victim at any wooded area that the police can immediately claim they're not supposed to be on and even ticket them and arrest them for it, is because they need that documentation in order to attempt to the falsified documentation that they make on police reports, information sheets, and incident reports about the victim being homeless, about the victim possibly having mental illness issues because they're claiming they're being stalked by people they don't know. And then they just repeat this over time throughout this time period between 8/8/11 and today's date. Okay. And that way they can try and make it appear on multiple different police reports made by multiple different officers that we believe Miss Williams has some type of mental issue because she thinks she's being stalked by people she don't know. She's homeless and won't get out of it. We've offered her homeless services even though they didn't. Okay. See, when you give when you give a gang stalking victim a phone number pertaining to services that they can go to supposedly for help, they already know that that target will never be able to get any of that help. And the only time that a target will be allowed to actually go to a homeless shelter is because they want that victim gang stalked to the homeless shelter. Once the target gets to the homeless shelter and signs the papers as a result of the homeless administrative staff making it appear that all their services are attractive, that's bait to get them to sign the papers. And then the massive organized stalking and gang stalking, which can include provocations, assaults, theft, robberies, rapes, everything. What they'll do is initiate the gang stalking at the homeless shelter in order to mentally, psychologically intimidate the target to influence their decisions to leave. Then the target is retracked to another wooded area through illegal GPS tracking and a covert physical surveillance of gang stalking, which is the stalking of gang stalking. Okay, and then stage another event. And the cops will say, well, we offered you homeless services. Why didn't you go? Well, I went and I was gang stalked. Well, what's gang stalking? They'll act like they don't know what it is. And you tell them, and this is the sake so they can videotape your responses or portions of it. Makes no mistake about it. The police at any time can turn on and off and then back on their video cameras. Like, say, if I was to pull out evidence in front of them, audio evidence of me being gang stalked, they'll turn it off. Then, after that's done, they'll turn it back on, okay, when I'm making verbal statements about being gang stalked. Because they want to make it appear that you have issues while the evidence doesn't see the light of day. That backs up your statements. Absolutely. Because one of the main goals in gang stalking is to literally claim that the target has mental issues, and that is done on paperwork that is eventually funneled into and within a court proceedings after a target is set up for a staged arrest during a staged event. And this is done so the documentation can be used against the target in court for legal probate control, so the target can be treated like a straw person for federal and state funds pertaining to the individuals who own the group homes the target are put in, as a result of them claiming the target's a threat to themselves or others, mentally ill, and or can't take care of themselves. And this is gang stalking, okay? Stalking is GPS tracking and covert physical surveillance, okay? And even technological surveillance. Like, why can you go to Google and type in thermal imaging and gang stalking, see-through wall radar and gang stalking, radar guns? They can literally physically monitor a target, like say if you're in your home or an apartment or a motel room, the perpetrators can sit outside of that building and literally use this technology in order to be able to physically see what room the target's in, what they're doing, if they're sleeping, if they're cooking, if they're going to the bathroom, taking a shower, or whatever. And so, do you honestly think, since that's being exposed by tens of thousands of victims all over the internet pertaining to some of the technologies that these filthy maggots have and do use against targets in order to covert physically monitor the target physically from a distance, do you honestly think that it's not reasonable to wonder if it's being used concerning a gang stalking victim at a wooded area? Because there's a million places that these little maggots can set up their little technology, okay, from a distance pertaining to where the target's at, okay? And is this how they know? Is this one of the features pertaining to how they know when the target is still in their tent, when they're sleeping, when they're putting up their tent, and then they stage an event like bring homeless people up on the property or social deviants or crazies or neighbors or joggers, okay, who have been lied to about the target, and they'll act like they're stumbling across the target or provoke an event towards the target, and then the police are called by anybody, including the target, like if the target's assaulted. And then the police come. Now, while this event is unfolding, they'll make sure the target's tied up in the psychological intimidation as the event's unfolding, which prevents the target from taking the tent down before the police come. Absolutely. Because they need that illegal lodging ticket. They need to be able to prove that the target is camping. Okay? Because remember what I said. Getting that documentation about the homelessness is what they want. That's why they always kept the target in, created the homelessness, and then kept them in it. Think about this. If you ask SDPD and UCSD police over 24 separate occasions, I have asked them to investigate me being gang stalked, okay, and they denied my right each and every time. I've been assaulted 6 times in San Diego. I got massive evidence. You can go to my blog, which is attached to my Twitter account, and you'll know what my Twitter account is by writing down the URL characters that are incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. Now that's a tweet link, and that tweet link is 8 tweets altogether that you need to look at. It's actually part of a tweet chain that has hundreds of tweets attached to it. But what you want to do is when you type in the URL characters and into your URL address bar, you know, like where you type in google.com or whatever, okay, and then you type in the URL characters of this tweet link and then bring the tweet up itself, that tweet and the 7 that are directly attached to it below it all work together. It's evidence. It's massive evidence. Okay. So what you're going to be looking for within these 8 tweets altogether is indisputable evidence of me being identically harassed pertaining to my statements detailing how I'm being identically harassed in Michigan, everywhere I went. And then you're going to be able to observe identical harassment being perpetrated around me in California, San Diego. And then you also want to absolutely go into my blog, because my blog holds hundreds and hundreds of videos of massive evidence and much more, including law enforcement confessions and law enforcement corruption. Absolutely. So do what I tell you to do and you will see truth. Now, so whenever they give a target a phone number, or even if they bring the San Diego Homeless Rescue Mission, which I already know they're nothing but a bunch of corrupt, low-life assholes, no matter what. You could type in the San Diego Homeless Rescue Mission right now at YouTube, and you'll see a news broadcast, okay, making them appear that they're some great service. I already know they're nothing but organized crime syndicate members. I know for a fact. I know for a fact through experience and things they've done and haven't done. But whenever a cop or any other homeless service, or even at a homeless shelter, whenever they're dealing with a gang-stalking victim, these people are told what to do, okay? Because of the ones who are managing this, that are in the system, that are above them, okay? And so, and especially when they're dealing with a target who wears a tape recorder running on them at all times, so they always got to make it sure that what they're doing is following normal procedures and that they're just there to help, yet they won't investigate you being gang-stalked. Okay. See, I got an income, so I could get an apartment tomorrow. I could get a room for rent. I could get a motel room. Okay. Even though it's very expensive here in San Diego, but I won't do it because I already know my blog industry proves I was gang stalked to at least 5 apartments in Michigan and made homeless from each one because of this crime. So why would anybody, okay, take their money, put down a security deposit, pay first month's rent, all the costs of getting utilities hooked up, okay, and then all the moving costs, including eating out? Why would somebody invest all that money into getting a place that they already know they'll be gang stalked to and made homeless from? And then the same bullshit would just repeat. Now, for instance, when you go to YouTube and you type in Coast to Coast AM electronic harassment, you want to look for the interview between George Norrie. Hold on a minute. Between George Norrie, Mike Fitzhugh-Bell, and Roger Tulsis. Now, Mike Fitzhugh-Bell was on the Coast to Coast AM radio show on Valentine's Day 2013. You clearly hear him state about how he was stalked from multiple apartments. His book also states it, the book being The Invisible Crime. That's the title of it. Okay, he's a California victim. He's still being victimized today. Okay, and just continue to research gang stalking through YouTube and Google extensively. You'll clearly be able to see that they're creating the homelessness of thousands of victims intentionally. And then when you look at all of the Google and YouTube generated responses that you get pertaining to how the police are directly involved in this crime, I think that you will be able to deduce with even common sense deliberations that they are. Now, I want you to really think about what I'm saying. The police are supposed to be investigating crime. And when they deny a citizen's right to investigate the type of crime that a victim is stating they're experiencing on over 24 separate physical occasions, even playing them indisputable audio evidence that you're being gang stalked, and they refuse to do it, that should automatically tell you that there's a common sense reason why. Now, let me segue into the other thing that I said that I was going to state before I get into the subject matter of this video. As a result of being made homeless, one of the main techniques that they've used against me is tracking me to several. I've been gang stalked now to over 20 different wooded areas, at least. That right there should tell you they're stalking you to where you live. Okay. So, and when they see that I'm getting out of control in reference to maybe exposing too much on the internet, or if I'm making too much trouble by going down and demanding they make police reports and videotaping their replies, no, okay, and then posting that on the internet, when they get pissed off, what they start doing is using the homeless people and the social deviants and the crazies, okay, to take over your wooded area when you're gone during the day. And this is done to tie you up in the constant busyness of moving, okay? Absolutely, because when you're homeless, especially if you're a woman, you got to try and find a spot that you feel somewhat physically safe. Okay? I picked this spot because it enables me to run away from it fast if I have to from any individuals that might approach me in a threatening manner, which they've already done at this place twice. Okay? Absolutely. They brought 3 individuals once when I was still tied up in, well, I'm not going to say what I was doing because then I would be admitting well, let me just put it to you this way. I'm not involved in any illegal activity. When I spent the night here once, okay, and I was still sleeping, just woke up, okay, and they brought 3 individuals up on this property from up the hill, okay, and they hung out right here and kept saying things to try. I believe what they were saying because of the nature of what they were saying. They were saying it to try and bait me out to get out of the tent, okay. Now, and I stayed in it because I had my video camera on and my tape recorder running, and if they were to approach my tent that morning and start attacking it or whatever, it would automatically prove that they were attacking somebody for no reason. Now, here's another thing I want you to also understand. At any time when I'm at any wooded area, whether I'm sleeping there or not, or just ducking into an area to be by myself or to go to the bathroom or take a cigarette break or whatever, okay, if anybody approaches me, like homeless people, social deviants, crazies, I'll pretend that I'm with someone, like saying something like, "Hey Jim, come here, somebody's here," okay? And the reason why I do this, I don't hang around anybody at all, and have not from day one since I have been in San Diego since August 8, 2011, because I already know these filthy maggots will infiltrate your life. Example, go to Google and type in intimate infiltration and gang stalking. Go to Google and type in social infiltration and gang stalking, and check this out. You can even go to Google and type in family infiltration and gang stalking. Do what I tell you to do, and you will see truth. Now, so think about this: if they're using these I already know they're using them, but when they use these social deviants and these punks and these criminals and these homeless people, and God only knows what other type of people that they're, how they're being paid off in order to use them for a staged event. When they're using them, they're only told so much, because the way the syndicate operates, it's strongly suggesting that middlemen are using them. So the ones that are being used don't even know that the cops are involved. The only time they'll stage an event using somebody that knows the cops are involved in this is when they're using an actual syndicate member, okay? Because another aspect of this crime is they're not only targeting the target, but they're also targeting some of the people they're using against the target. Case in point, say if they bring an individual up on a property to assault me, they believe that will mentally provoke me to call the police. I call the police and I show them a video picture, if I get out my video camera and videotape them, of the person. And they'll say, okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for them. They leave the scene. They probably file a falsified police report about me pertaining to matters that I've already discussed. But then what they'll do is turn around and arrest them without ever letting me know. And their excuse will be, well, we couldn't get a hold of Leslie because she's homeless and we didn't know where to find her. The cops will act like they never know where I'm at. I'll repeat that. The police will act like they never know where I'm at. If I walk into a SDPD, if I walk into an SDPD department, where their buildings are, and I say I'm being gang stalked, I'm whether I say I'm homeless or not, if I say that I was attacked at a wooded area, and they'll say, where are you staying at? Okay. They say that for the sake because they already know that I'm on my way before I get there, because the syndicate that is connected to them tells them through the tracking. This is all over the internet, okay, that they're tracking targets in real time at all times, 24/7, okay? So when they get there, they already know they're dealing with a target with a tape recorder. They know they got video cameras on their ceilings. So they got to make it appear they don't know where I'm at when I'm talking to them. Okay, whether they come to an area where I'm at or I go to one of their departments, their actual police buildings. They got to try and make it appear they don't even know where I'm at, including when I call 911. Okay, 911 dispatch, are they aware of where I'm actually at? Now remember, 911 calls are recorded. And if anything ever goes sideways for these criminal fucks, okay, like I get murdered or really badly hurt or, like even raped, okay, they got to make it appear on the 911. Would they try and make it appear on the 911 tapes of the call, no matter who called them, that they don't have no idea where I'm at, and that I need to explain my location better. That's the sake. Is that for the sake of those audio recordings in case I ever disappear? Okay, they're trying to make it appear that they have no idea where I'm at. Okay, because you got to remember, they're also they're using middlemen to use these social deviants and homeless people. They assault you. Okay, you call the police on them. The police come out. They say, okay, well, what's this person's description? Or if you took a video picture of them, you tell them. Okay, they walk away and they file a falsified police report about you. Okay, and then go arrest the people that the middleman used to assault you. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're making money, okay, off the privately owned detention centers. Probation officers now are contracted. They make money. Absolutely. You would not, if you don't think that state and federal funds are not being applied for pertaining to prisoners in detention centers, county jails, and prisons, think again. Okay? So this is a very complex crime. It's involved in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of criminal motivations. You can think of everything: identity theft, human trafficking, you name it. Okay, racketeering of all forms, property co-opting, land co-opting, trust fund liquidation, you name it. Now, so the police will even use the target for the complaint. If 3 police officers show up at one incident, one can file a falsified police report about the target, okay, and walk away, and the other 2 will go after the person that the middleman used. So they're targeting the target, and they're targeting the individuals that the middlemen are using against the target to see how it works, because they're making money off of everybody, okay? And if you don't think they're not making money pertaining to people being sent to detention centers and jails, you can go to Google and type in Pennsylvania judge sentenced to 28 years for pipelining first-time misdemeanor children to the full maximum sentence. And once they got a hold of the children, they applied for federal funds per child, and when the funds came in, the detention center kicked back a portion of those funds to the judge, and he got caught and got 28 years. Massive racketeering schemes. Absolutely. You would not believe what's going on in the hood, baby cakes. So 70% of targets are women, tens of thousands. There's an estimated anywhere between 2.8 and 4.2 target individuals right now in America, probably more, okay? And 70% are women. Now, you can also go to Google and type in human trafficking and gang stalking. And if you don't think that human trafficking is not going on in group homes and in jail, think again. So let me show you this for a second. Now, my fellow American citizens. Okay, this is a tree that you can obviously see that you can even probably, I call it the octopus tree. Yeah, I'm sure you can probably see why. Because it looks like one, right? Now, the reason I'm showing you this tree is because it's a landmark. Absolutely, it's a landmark. Now, why am I showing it to you, though? I'm showing it to you because of the simple fact that when a target individual who's being gang stalked to a wooded area, okay, they can see when the target is left. Because think about this. When I go about my routes during the day, my tape recorder picks up people saying gang stalk, suck my D-I-C-K, gang stalk, oh my God, even though lately they've lightened up considerably doing that. But I got at least 4,000 or 5,000 audio files of them doing it around me every day, everywhere I go. Remember the link in the title of this Periscope video. Okay. Now, the only way that they could prop up that identical harassment around me every day, everywhere I was going, like in the past 2.5 weeks, it's died down some. And I talked about why in some of my just previously made videos in this account. Okay. So the only way that all that harassment could have been propped up around me every single day for over 3.5 years, okay, was they obviously had to know where I was. That right there, and just what's in the title of this Periscope video, indisputably proves stalking, tracking, and harassment, and much more. Okay, so when you look at what's in my blog as well, you're indisputably going to conclude that I'm not only gang stalked in wooded areas, but also along my routes. Now, the only way that they can prop up people to harass me in the same exact identical way for over 3.5 years in San Diego, okay, the only way that they can prop up people to harass me in the same way everywhere I go, every single day for over 3.5 years, is obviously they had to know where I was, okay, along my routes, meaning that separate places I go, transportation services, everything, which proves it's the stalking and the GPS tracking, including wooded areas. So that right there in itself is going to automatically prove to anybody that takes the time to dissect the information that I incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. It's indisputable. it's in your face. It's black and white. It's in your lap. Okay, so think about this. What they'll do when they see your like through the cyber surveillance of your internet activity, if you're a gang stalking victim, they can see if you're preparing to go to lawyers because they can see you're looking up lawyers and copying and pasting their addresses and phone numbers into your email accounts, and then Google searching. And then map questing how to get to them from specific bus stops. Okay, so they can see you're preparing to go to lawyers. They know you got all this evidence. They don't want that evidence to be deposed in a deposition because they know it's indisputable. That means the places that have been involved in the gang stalking can be sued, the police can be sued for not investigating it, and so on and so forth. So what they'll do is they'll do one of the minimal things that they'll do is they'll take over your resting area when you're gone during the day. Okay? Or they'll stage an event and they'll say, well, geez, look, Leslie, you got a video here showing you've been on the property before. So how can you say that you weren't hanging out here? How can you say that you just ducked in for the first time on this property to take a piss or to be by yourself? Because they want that illegal lodging, trespassing, or legal encroachment in order to use the courts against you by using these types of tickets. Okay? What I do is predict what these little maggot, red-ass animal whores are going to do before they do it. Okay? Now, so what I did was I built a wall. Okay? Actually, this wall was actually already here. I just modified it some. Of branches and leaves and stuff like that. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't steal, I don't sleep around, I don't hang around with the soul. Okay, so we're going to see when I come back to this area on any date, including possibly today's date, if there's anybody camped out on this property, anywhere, or if this has been torn down, or if people are doing work on it, okay, or any incident happens here. Now let me get back to what I was stating a few minutes ago in reference to if somebody comes on this property, I'm going to act like I'm with someone by saying, hey, Jim, come here, somebody's here. And the reason why I do that is because I wear my tape recorder running on me at all times. Now, I want you to really listen to this. If I say that to somebody who's coming up on the property, either from the hill behind me or the road right there, okay, or any other area, if somebody comes on the property and I try to act like I'm with someone by saying, hey, Jim, come here, there's somebody here, and they still approach me to try and attack me or steal something, then that should tell anybody that's got any type of ability to engage in deductive reasoning that they know that I'm alone, okay, and that they feel confident they can get away with doing what they're doing towards me and or the robberies, right? Because if a female is saying something like that, what they're saying is that they're with a man. Understand? That they're with a man, right? Now, how many homeless people do you honestly think are going to try to approach you and rob you if they haven't been told that you're alone and you're acting like you're with someone? They're going to hesitate. They're going to rethink their position, their motive, right? They'll leave the property. I want you to really listen to what I'm saying. Okay, that would be like, say, if a burglar is casing out a home of a person he thinks is a single woman, and then he discovers that she's got a live-in boyfriend. He's going to change his mind. You understand? So, I don't hang around anybody at all, but the purpose of that is it's an additional technique that I use in order to show that if somebody is still bold enough to approach you and try to take anything from you or attack you or both, while you're acting like you're with a man and he can come towards you at any minute as a result of you calling him, then it's obvious that person has been told that the victim is actually alone. Okay, so that's an additional technique that I utilize in order to show that these people are being briefed concerning where the target's at, how to act, and what to say. And here's another thing that they'll do, and check this out, and this is the honest God's truth. When they bring up people towards me at wooded areas, they'll call me sir. And why are they doing that? Because they're trying to confuse and camouflage the intent pertaining to them intentionally coming up on a woman. Because when you're stalking a woman, okay, in La Jolla, because La Jolla is a very affluent neighborhood, it looks bad. It looks bad for the police, it looks bad for the community and everything. And plus, there's a lot of people in La Jolla that knows what's going on towards me. Absolutely. Because these idiots were so stupid to use so many people in La Jolla against me. And word's getting out. All right, hold on a minute. So, the persons who are managing this campaign, they absolutely know that I wear a tape recorder running on me at all times. I've told the police, every police officer, I think there's only been one police officer that I've ever talked to that I didn't tell that they're being taped. And that was the one that just approached me a few days ago, about 5-6 days ago, over by Carl's Jr. in the library off of Governor Road and Genesee Avenue. And that's only because I forgot to tell them. But I got on my video camera. But anyways, so what they'll do is when they come on the property, an additional thing they'll do is they'll intentionally call me sir. And the reason why that is because if they plan on attacking you or creating any type of event that brings the police, they want to try and make it appear that they're not intentionally attacking a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Because what they're trying to do is hide their intent. Okay? That they're not specifically targeting a woman. See, the people that manage this know I make predictions every day because cyber surveillance is a method of gang stalking, right? And I got thousands of videos all over the internet in separate YouTube channels, Periscope, YouTube, and so on. 95% of all my videos that are online right now, thousands of them, 95% of them all show me all stating that I'm wearing a tape recorder running on me at all times. And it also shows me stating that I predict what might happen towards me along my routes, at wooded areas, and businesses, libraries, and so on. So, do you really honestly think that this gang stalking expedition is going to break away from their protocols that they implement against all targets of gang stalking all over America pertaining to the protocol of cyber surveillance the target's internet activity? It's all over the internet they're doing it. They're monitoring targets' YouTubes, email accounts, blog accounts, Periscope accounts, all of it. All of it. Okay? So, if I got thousands of videos all over the internet, 95% of them show me stating that I'm wearing a tape recorder running on me at all times and recording everything and that I predict everything that might occur, do you honestly think then that they're not going to adjust their dialogue when they bring about a staged event towards me in order to make it appear that the crimes happening to you don't have intent pertaining to the intent towards a woman, or that they'll make statements like, oh, I just ducked in here to take a piss. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just walking through. I didn't know you were here. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, I was just walking through. Okay? And then they'll try and stay on the property by engaging in dialogue about nonsensical bullshit while dressing it up to make it appear that they're just, making normal conversation. Okay? But they gotta make sure that their dialogue camouflages the issue, the intent, and is even confusing. Okay, so my fellow American citizens, I strongly suggest you research this crime extensively. Now, these people intentionally use crazies and social deviants, and I think you know what I mean when I say social deviants. Okay, so the point and the goal is because when you look at the type of people that these people will use, you got to remember the police are also trying to portray the target as crazy, and that they'll try and claim the target's putting themselves in unsafe positions by not getting out of the homelessness because they think that they're being stalked, even though every single bit of the circumstance and every single thing that's happening to the victim is all staged. Do you understand? And then what they do is literally flip everything they say and try and make it appear that the target doesn't know how to take care of themselves. The target had an apartment. The whole entire apartment was furnished and lost everything because of this crime. Because the crime intentionally made the target homeless for these criminal expeditions. You understand? Then they set up the staged events and the staged assaults in order for the police to come. Okay? And then the police will say, well, Miss Williams is putting herself in a dangerous situation by sleeping in wooded areas and not getting out of the homelessness, even though she's got money, even though she's even been offered homeless services. These filthy maggots, SDPD, they are nothing but criminal lying whores. They'll lie right to your face, they'll lie right to my face, they'll lie in police reports, and they will absolutely lie in court. Absolutely. They know for a fact I'm being gang stalked. They're literally part of it. And the reason why I know they're part of it is because of what they did in 2006 when I was out here between 1 and 34 days, or 38 days, and because of the fact that since I've been out here since August 8, 2011, they've not only refused my right to make a police report on over 24 separate occasions, separate events, separate dates, separate locations. They refused to listen to evidence, and when they did listen to evidence on at least 2 or 3 occasions, they denied that it was evidence. But here's the kicker. They also falsified 2 falsified police reports, 2 that are known by me. God only knows what else they filed that I don't know about. Okay, so when you get a police report from the police department and you automatically notice that it's falsified, you automatically notice that facts were intentionally omitted, left out, then you see how they behave towards you in the past. They see you know they're keeping you in this crime. Do the math. I mean, it's not all over the internet that police are being exposed by tens of thousands of Americans pertaining to this crime for no reason. Targets who have never talked to each other are all exposing the police. Hold on. So, we're going to see if I come back to this area today or on any day and anybody's doing work on the property or anywhere near it that obstructs my ability to enter it. Okay? Oh, and here's another thing. You know what they did? Did they have people walk up and down through here? Because that area over there, all the bushes and everything were straight up. And so what they had was they had people walk, joggers, come up and go back and forth from the hill, okay, to the road in order to stamp all that down. So when the cops go by and they see it all stamped down, they can try and say that they were just following a path and come up here and act like they're stumbling across you. They did the same thing over there, okay? And the reason why I know they'll use that type of excuse is because they've already used it before. Absolutely. When I came to this area and started utilizing it, okay, those white type of things that come out of the ground were sticking straight up, over 6 feet tall. So what they did was they started bringing joggers to come up from the hill and go through here and walk on it, and then when they come back, they do the same thing in order to mat it down, in order to make it appear that people were coming in and out by creating a trail. So when the police go by, they can say that they seen it out of the corner of their eye, or when they pulled somebody over, or when there's an accident or whatever, that they innocently noticed it and decided to check the area. It's exactly what they did in Rose Canyon. Absolutely. Absolutely. The police are nothing but lying whores. Don't ever, if you're a gang-stalking victim, under no circumstance trust the police. Because they will lie right to your face, they will falsify documentation about you in a split second, and they will absolutely lie in court. But if they set you up for falsified arrest and put you in jail and then stage assaults for you experience in jail, do you honestly think that the police aren't corrupt? So my name is Leslie Williams. Now, propping people... Oh, sorry about that. So my name is Leslie Williams. So propping people up on the property to take over your area is another method of gang stalking. And this is done so you have to constantly be caught up in the busyness of moving from place to place to place to place. It's also done to try and steer you to a more isolated wooded area. Like this one. If something happens here, I can easily run out because my stuff is always locked up to my bike. Okay, my bike's locked up to the tree. So if I have to run out of here, I got a whistle, I can blow my whistle and try and flag somebody down. So that's not convenient for them. And they only have so many ways that they can try and escape the area. Okay? And that's the reason why I picked this place. Now, 99% of the time when I'm here, for whatever reason, I'm completely quiet and totally camouflaged. I stay to myself at all times. And at the places that I sleep at, I only put up my tent right before dark, and I take it down, okay, right before it's light out. Okay, so, and I did that in order to bottleneck their window of opportunity to come in and come after me so they can say indisputably that you're camping. Okay, so it's all about tightening that window of opportunity for them, okay, by adjusting my behavior, okay? Now, illegal probate control is one of the main criminal motivations that they have for me, because when you take illegal probate control of somebody, you co-opt the judge allows that person to also take over your finances. Okay, your insurance is exploited in the group homes that the targets are put in because the gang stalking continues, and the gang stalking target is constantly harassed, provoked in order to provoke them to act out, so they can then claim the target needs to go back into the hospital to get on medication because they're out of control. And this is done for massive insurance fraud. You would not believe the money that's made off insurance fraud. Oh, absolutely. The target is also raped in these group homes. The rapes are videotaped and sold to pornography groups, and the rapes occur as a result of the target's medication, food, and drinks being drugged. So you can also go to YouTube and type in Stockton, San Antonio, and you can also go to YouTube and type in gang stalking bullying on steroids. And when you go into my blog, make sure you pay attention to the sections within my blog pertaining to two main things: all of the radio shows that I've been on, okay, and all of the sections dedicated to my blog that are titled Stockton San Antonio. Okay. I literally got to go. This turned out to be a lot longer, bigger video than I wanted it to be. My name is Leslie Williams. I made this video to inform, to expose the truth. It does apply for the next 90 days. Let's see if any or all of my videos are used against me in court so they can try and claim the target's crazy, mentally ill, a threat to themselves or others, okay, and or can't take care of yourself, because that's what they do. They'll literally take the truth you're exposing, call it a lie, call it crazy, in order to achieve their criminal motivations. That's literally how bold they are, okay? So I make predictions. If what I predict comes true, it should be self-apparent again, to anybody that this crime is going on. Research my evidence and you will see truth. Thank you for listening. I got to go. Have a great day.